Quid is you know, definitely a strong player as far as the control mages go, but I would just like to see River and Quid pick a strong winning 2v2, play around mid jungle really heavily. They are the big stars of this team. Try to avoid a lane swap at all costs because, you know, it's definitely something that they are very weak at answering. And try to play something early, try to play something aggressive where you can take skirmishes, you can take fights and try to get individual outplays in that way. I think that's 100 Thieves definitely their best chance at doing it, because if you go into a macro game against PSG, I expected it. You know, you're not going to be able to match what they can bring. You know, they're just a much stronger macro game that they can really bring across, and they have so much more experience. And we talk about Maple a lot. This guy's been playing forever, but Maple and Betty were teammates in this kind of situation like 6 years ago, right? When Sniper was 11, and all these players over on 100 Thieves are really lacking in international experience. And you know, even regionally, you know, they're not known as a macro team, so they need to play towards their strengths. The Ziggs is going to get locked in. I'm thinking it's going to be a Tomo Ziggs, almost guaranteed. He used this really well in NA as a neutralizer as far as those 2v2s were going. He played it a lot against Berserker in the C9 series where they had that big upset, where, you know, he was just, his job was kind of just shutting down or equalizing that 2v2 and then showing up for the 5v5. It does make me wonder if they are going to go something a little bit more aggressive for mid jungle here to facilitate that, because obviously Tomo, you know, you can play that 2v2, try to play that to a stalemate, and then you can move him mid and have Quid more in a side lane or something like that, where I think, you know, he can play with River and try to really make something happen.
But while on the other side for PSG, let me just update you all. Triple melee here to sync up with the Sejuani, of course. But, you know, the Rumble's had a lot of criticism in the tournament. There have been some great games. But again, with the nerfs, people are still questioning the priority it holds.
Absolutely. I mean, we see the bans being swapped up here for 100 Thieves. They banned out the Skarner and the Gnar. They had banned out the Yone, and then immediately they take away that Yone as soon as that is left available, and they take the Sejuani that 100 Thieves had been using in that last game.
Renekton mid.
It's going to be Renekton. This could be Renekton mid. It also could be Renekton top. You know, we'll have to see exactly where they go. I'm expecting it to be Renekton mid into that Yone, and having Sniper play that Aatrox. But Quid also has actually played mid Aatrox before in the LCS. So, you know, there is a possibility of both those matchups. Definitely expecting it to be the Renekton, though. Obviously, is that old school Yasuo counter, and it's kind of the same thought process here against the Yone. And we even saw it brought out, was it against Maple that the Renekton mid came out against the Akali, but then it worked really poorly? That was in the Mad series, right? It was Fresco's one. So, you know, we have seen that fail against Maple. Obviously different matchup, but similar idea. And we'll see if Quid is going to be able to pilot that and how successful it will be. You know, if you look at the solo lanes 400 Thieves, you'd be like, they could really use a Sejuani, but unfortunately JunJia has taken that away on the other side. And already you have to feel like 100 Thieves are kind of locked into a very early game comp, right? You know, you're gonna have Ziggs bot, you're gonna have these kind of like early mid game bruisers in mid and in top, regardless of where they do go. So they are gonna be really low on damage as far as that's concerned into the later stages, especially if there's like a safe AD carry that's locked in from Betty. We saw Xayah a couple times in the earlier series, something like that could be strong. I think even an Ezreal could be quite strong in this kind of situation.
Ezreal's a good pull out as well. We've seen a little bit of the Varus too, depending on what we want to add to this.
Varus I would be a little bit kind of like unsure about, just because, you know, Renekton and Aatrox are going to be looking to jump on you, and then it's going to be a Ziggs ult on your head, right? So I do think you want to have an AD carry that can have a dash, that can have some sort of safety to it. It's not that PSG couldn't win without that, and I mean, if you overcommit to a Varus, if they were to draft that, and then over on the other side there's a Rumble and a Yone roasting you, then obviously that could still work out. Rell is going to be the lock-in here, kind of that S-tier support. Really does just come down to all these different engagements.
Alistar is open again though. Woody didn't get a ban against him. It has been the go-to, and Azael, I love that you knocked this on the head. Again, Ezreal gives a bit more versatility around this very heavy dive.
Exactly. I mean, you could just play Cleanse Ezreal, and then all of a sudden it gets very difficult to lock this guy down, right? Like really with this kind of comp, already what they want to do is they want to lock someone in place, and they want to Ziggs ult on their head, and they want to instantly kill off that carry. Yone, lots of mobility. Ezreal, lots of mobility. This becomes so much more difficult already through the draft that PSG have grabbed. I think if you just go something defensive, you know, some sort of like kind of safety support here, even like a Rom or like an Alistar that could kind of punt some of these carries out on the 100 Thieves side, I think it would be really, really strong. I think Rakan can work as well as far as the counter engage goes. You know, Sniper and Quid are going to be just running in towards these carries. That's the only way they can really play it out. But Alistar, you know, one of the picks I was more expecting, you just headbutt out Sniper or Quid every single time they come in on these fights, and you're kind of binary in the way that you work on these champions. Like, you slice forward on the Renekton, you get headbutt out. How are you getting back to that Ezreal? It's very, very difficult. Then an equalizer's layered over the top as well. We see the bans, you know, from PSG. They know that 100 Thieves need some sort of AP carry in the jungle because it's double physical soul laners. So they banned out the Brand, they banned out the Shyvana. River going to be going towards the LIllia, which I do think is quite strong in this draft.
Yeah.
It's 4 melees over on the PSG side, which is kind of that dream for the LIllia. So this could be that X factor here, potentially 400 Thieves. If River could really get going and have a great game on this LIllia, then maybe get to the point where he can be that extra difference. You know, if all these members on PSG are stacked up too much, LIllia can be a nightmare to deal with. So does have an opportunity to potentially take over a game.
Because they can really stack up, can't they? I mean, that PSG comp is like all in, all buttons. We all dive, we all press, we miss. River's a good punishing factor, so that's a real nice hit, considering that 100 Thieves are up against Death's Door. I've used this analogy over the past couple of days, considering we are on the elimination matches, but our last Swiss spot is determined in this series, and for PSG, after that game 1, they are firm favorites, they are heavy favorites, they are...
Thieves can bounce back here. It is a very different style of composition. It's very skirmish heavy here, and it's going to come down to a lot of these early fights, because I do think when you have these types of comps that are kind of binary, it's just a lot of melee champions that run at each other and fight to the death. When one team gets ahead, it's pretty tough to actually turn it around. You know, there's less ability to kind of have that X factor and have that outplay in these kind of compositions. So it is going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting here. Maple going towards the grasp on the Yone. This is that kind of new meta as Fleet it's really fallen out of favor, you know, even on these melee champions, but especially on the range champions. A lot more people are playing with the grasps. It procs off your W, procs off your Q, so you can farm it up, especially in these melee matchups, quite well. And just the resolve tree in general is quite strong for Yone. And you're going up against a Renekton, you know you're going to be on the defensive
Plus
end.
Stride Breaker first item as well. I mean, this Yone gets quite tanky. A lot of HP in the build. It's important that you raise it because, again, it has been the go-to as we are getting standard lanes for the time being. No swap up for now. Junglers starting on opposite sides of the map. And again, to confirm, Quid does take this Renekton into the mid lane versus the Yone. No PTA. He's gone for Conqueror here, and it looks like Resolve also in the tree.
Yep, absolutely. And Betty, as I was expecting, is going to go cleanse, so it's going to be very difficult to lock him down. You know, if Woody just even goes towards like a locket, you just go that kind of defensive style. You just need to keep Betty on this Ezreal alive. He really is going to be one of the biggest problems here for 100 Thieves, especially as you go towards the later stages of this game as the Ezreal scales up. He is going to be a nightmare for the 100 Thieves squad to deal with. It's going to be so difficult to actually get in the back line, be able to lock him down and burst him down. And if you don't, it's pretty easy to hit 3-4 melee champions that are just kind of running at you with Qs.
I mean, again, that's what I love about these drafts for both sides, though, is that, as you said, alluding to this game, it feels like it's going to be brawl heavy. It's going to be kind of in your face. I am going to track River a little bit here because he's clearing towards the top side. Bot here for JunJia, and while I have your attention at home, I kind of want to mention that it's something that you left us with, Azael, after the first game, is that River has had a good tournament so far. 100 Thieves have been in question a lot, but I think the best performing player is this jungler. And I really hope he bounces back after what was probably his worst game at Worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even in their loss versus R7, he was having some monster games. He was such a standout player. Of course, in their win versus the Hawks, you know, these are his stats before game number 1. But, you know, has been playing really, really well. Definitely did get dominated along with the rest of his team in that last game. But he is set up for success here. You know, he is a champion that has a lot of pressure on him to really get things done in this game, which could be their final game here at Worlds. So we'll see if River can step up and really make something happen, as he has been 400 Thieves, you know, all year long.
And again, as a player who I highly respect after watching a lot of VODs and their journey into playoffs, especially the C9 series, so pivotal, that linchpin, or better yet, that stabilizing factor that brings it all together with some of his great engage tools. You know, on the LIllia this game, we mentioned it before, if there is a mistake from PSG, if they can't pull off this team fight, then River on LIllia is going to be the big playmaker again, is going to be that deciding factor, so it seems fitting.
Absolutely, and in this jungle matchup, you know, he can get ahead of the Sejuani. You know, if JunJia can't find those plays around the top side, and that is a question, because he is set up very well with Maple, with Azhi, you know, these double melee soul laners, but River could try to get ahead of the curve here. We can see the push coming in from Azhi up on top side. You can JunJia just up top to try to cover, but not going to look for any sort of play. He will just be recalling, and River going to do his Raptors here. Obviously did them to start. start. And there's a flash in bot.
It is a flash engage, ignites down straight away. Eyla just flashes backwards to crash down maybe, but he's about to be autoed. Betty flashes in, gets the Mystic Shot after getting first blood. Eyla can't be doing that in potentially their final game.
Yeah, that is rough. Quid taking a good trade mid, but does it even matter with first blood going over to Betty there? That was definitely a misclick. There's just no way he's looking to actually flash back in that position. A panic moment from Eyla costs them big time, as it's going to be Ezreal, really, as I said, the last person you want to get that gold, because this guy is going to be such a nightmare for them to deal with later on in the game. If you allow him to get accelerated, it's going to be so tough for 100 Thieves to ever take him down.
Over 4 years in the North American scene, it's such a big moment for this bot lane, especially Eyla I'm talking about here. But as Maple hovers around mid, we draw our attention close. He now roams and looks for something to see if he can catch off this mid Yone.
Yeah, I mean, Eyla obviously is a pretty experienced player, not at the international level. They are going to look. A nice snap back there from Maple. But, you know, played in the OPL, has been around, you know, the LCS and the LCS scene for quite some time.
Yep.
Tomo, if you don't know, this guy, you know, didn't start the split with 100 Thieves. You know, he was a sub-in for Meech, who subbed himself out for mental health reasons. We can watch this one more time. A great engage here from Woody, and then...
Oh, no.
That's just a panic flash from Eyla. I think what he was maybe trying to do was Q backwards and then flash away or something like that. But just a bit of a panic moment. Your mouse is in the wrong spot when you use that flash. And he knows it. A bit of a laugh there, you know, trying to kind of keep the mood good. But your heart has to kind of sink into your stomach when you have a moment like that, and you know you are one game away from being eliminated here at Worlds.
As we look towards mid, let's pause on that thought. Level 6 is available for both of them, as River and JunJia are now getting involved. But JunJia sits there first on top of Quid, and he's got a melee mid laner who can help him out with the permafrost. But he backs away because grubs are now here, and health bars are important as River looks to stick around.
Yeah, Quid doing pretty well in the 1v1, but it's not a big enough lead that like you're really concerned about it at all. Woody has roamed over, and Quid did take a pretty big chunk there from JunJia, so that is going to help them quite a lot here. He will be able to get the honey fruit and heal back up somewhat, but we'll see if 100 Thieves are feeling confident to take this fight.
But Arja's walking down first. Sniper had to back away. The wave pushed up against him. He teleports towards top, so PSG get the scuttle bare minimum, and they are in River comfortably first with numbers as the engage is set up by Woody. 100 Thieves are here by themselves. The top lane are not involved. The equalizer layers down, and the proof is shown by Arja setting up to put him into the ground. It's a double kill over to the top lane Rumble, and PSG in the same spot as last game, just clean the fight again.
Yeah, Sniper's coming over to see if there's anything he can do here. He's going to maybe be able to push off JunJia a little bit. But one grub already grabbed, and now it's going to be really tough for them to get anything more.
It's rough. The setup from Woody, beautiful, but respect from 100 Thieves, not just there. 2K gold lead, all from that. Arja already winning the lane. Azael, I didn't get to talk about it in the early game, but he was already 20 CS up, and as those numbers come back up,
yeah, and now he has 2 kills. Like, he is completely ahead of Sniper. Sniper is going to be already out of this lane. Jeez. Absolutely. We can see the Ziggs ult used there to just try to clear the wave. 100 Thieves in a terrible spot here. 7 minutes into the game, you're already 2K down. This is a nightmare spot for them to be in. And again, it's at one of these setups at the objectives, they just really feel completely out of sorts. I mean, you called it. Sniper is back in base. He's TPing back. You cannot be positioning that aggressively without him around. They just go for an easy engage there onto River. Eyla completely whiffs on his crash down, and it's a couple easy kills there for the Rumble.
And then all in the meanwhile, Betty just keeps whittling away at the bot side. Let's watch the setup yet again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, right? The TP is up there. You know, we can see that the Aatrox is not anywhere near, and then I don't know what that crash down was from Eyla, but he unfortunately goes right down into the equalizer. River, you know, they just shouldn't have even been there until the Aatrox is there, right? I think that their composition can fight pretty strongly at that first grubs, but Sniper needs to be with you. You have to be a 4-man squad. And if you are, then hey, I think you have an opportunity to really make something happen. You know, get onto a target like Azhi or Maple, try to lock them down and burst them down. We know that Woody had no flash from the altercation in the bot side, so there were targets that they could actually punish, but again, they show up, they don't have all their members together, and PSG just instantly crushed them.
Sniper's going to go all in here. Arja is about to burn out, but he's got the equalizer almost up and available. Dragon's going down for PSG bot. I pause for top because there is still kill threat there. Fated Ashes, Morella Nomicon, or rather Magic Orb. I can't even remember the name. Let's just call
Oblivion
it
Orb.
Oblivion Orb.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's the baby Morellonomicon.
Baby Morellonomicon. That I just picked up, so healing be damned for Sniper, who's only got Merc Treads.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be obviously pretty effective there
Does he
in
win
top
this?
lane.
Does Sniper win this? Let's find out. He hits all the sweet spots. Maybe yes, but overheating.
Oh!
Sniper takes down Azhi. The ult for JunJia will get a response here as he looks for the auto and the aftershock. But Sniper finding the solo kill is some hopium desperately needed by North America.
Yeah, that's a big moment. Eyla here waiting on the side. We'll see if they can find anything more. They need those kind of plays to be able to come back in this game. PSG already were in a great spot and do have the better scaling composition here, but unfortunately for Sniper, no TP. He gets killed by JunJia, and then as a result, you're kind of really not getting nearly as much as you want. If he got that kill, got to push out the wave and have it crash, he'd be in a great spot, but he loses multiple waves to his tower afterwards, and the wave is going to bounce away from him. So this is like a net of like negative, 12, 15 CS even compared to had JunJia not been there.
Flash, Quid, disengaged from the Mega Inferno Bomb. The Fate Sealed catches two on the way out, and Maple has to flash. Woody's now caught up in the action as well as Quid doesn't have the Ruthless Predator. He used it here on Maple. They're going to get some summoners out, and if Woody wasn't there, I think Maple would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Azhi makes the roam down as well. River, trying to interrupt these recalls, is able to do so onto Woody, and is going to be able to take away some of these camps. 100 Thieves, yes, everything early went kind of disastrous, but with this composition, you cannot afford to just say, all right, let's sit back. You need to keep playing with confidence. You need to keep looking for these skirmishes and say, you know what? Memory of a goldfish, let's just forget what happened earlier and let's just keep playing to the strengths of the composition, because if you sit back, you're guaranteed to lose. They're in a really rough spot, but at least if you take some fights, you have some opportunities to get some outplays, to make something happen and try to claw your way back, because it is do or die for the LCS number 3 team.
As the wave crashes or at least gets close to Azhi. I'm not sure about the freeze there, but the next wave is coming in, so it's in a very good spot where Woody now trying to take advantage of it. Flamespitter might reset this a little bit here as Azhi close, by the way, to getting that Leandri's first item as Sniper is still pushed out in the lane. He also needs a cover in River, who's moving top anyway because of the 20-second timer that Grubs are now spawning to.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Sniper obviously just so down as far as the itemization is concerned. Merc Tread's definitely a good buy, but at the same time, his first item is going to be so incredibly delayed compared to what Azhi is going to have, where he was really accelerated by those early 2 kills. Again, Woody moving up towards top, and they're going to look for Sniper here.
And he's in the danger zone, so he's already doing so much damage. Flamespitter out, but he's going to overheat before the fight kicks off as PSG in the river again. This place has not been good for 100 Thieves here in this series.
No, it has not at all. But 100 Thieves, again, they have to keep fighting for these things. They did get 2 early grubs. They're going to look to see if they can make something happen here. This time, at least, they are together, but Woody's on the flank.
Flashes, pops him back in. That deer caught in headlights. Equalizer down, and PSG had taken the hopes away as Eyla gets good engagement. The Fate Sealed, used on the backline. Sniper can't get in. They're getting picked apart again, even though 100 Thieves had some hopium from the solo kill, from a pick-off kill. It's falling apart just like game 1.
It's just a gorgeous engage from Woody. He found the early kill onto Eyla with that engagement bot side, and then another one finding River here. He was the one who found River at the last fight around Grubs. Again, this time even better. Picks him off, knocks him into the team, even when River flashes out. Azhi had held the equalizer to drop over the wall to guarantee that kill. It's a brilliant engage from PSG. Out of fog, there he goes. Q flash, W over the wall. River flashes back, trying to get to safety, but JunJia nails the ultimate. Azhi has the equalizer. They know if they kill off that LIllia, there's not a lot of threat. So even though there's some good individual plays here from 100 Thieves, dodging out on the Fate is Sealed there by Quid, a good ult from Tomo, it just doesn't matter because so much of the power there is in River's hands.
This Sejuani, by the way, when everyone's in that little scruff, because Maple's hitting, Azhi's hitting, Woody's hitting. There's so much CC to go around. Everyone gets a pile. And now we come back to live. A 3K gold lead, a dragon, 4 grubs. PSG, I was worried about how this team was against Pain. I thought Pain at the start of the series, I'm like, wait, maybe Pain is the better team.
Pain was one fight away from beating PSG.
That's right. And then we've developed, haven't we? Even against Mad, they showcased a little bit more. Here against 100 Thieves. This is the PSG we were hoping for coming into Worlds because of how well they could team play, because of how good individually as well these guys were good with their hands.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they're playing incredibly well. 100 Thieves also making it pretty easy for them, you know, going for some of these fights where they don't really have it set up. And PSG is playing the map better, is really punishing to the maximum when there are these mistakes from 100 Thieves. So PSG looking like a really dominant team. They have about a 3,000 gold lead here already. But again, 100 Thieves have no option but to keep fighting. You're playing Aatrox, Renekton as your solo laners here. There's no sit back and scale. You need to make things happen now when you're looking at a Yone and an Ezreal on the other side that are going to scale to infinity.
At least they're trying to make it happen, and 100 Thieves never saying die is a good thing to say the very least with the game state. PSG are moving into River now, though, as Dragon at 3.5k is about to be reset. Ulti sent into Tomo on the back line, true shot barrage, and taking himself, flash over. Tomo hit with the flail. Eyla has to back away as River hasn't even gotten to play this game. PSG corner him into the wall, and I'm telling you right now, Venison is going to them all.
That one looked personal. He's caught against the wall with no flash at 20% HP. They equalizer him. They use the Yone ult. They use everything and the kitchen sink, making River wish he still was on PSG.
Oh man, the throwback. He was on the best PSG roster. I had it all prepped out. I had it all scripted, but scripts be damned. PSG are breaking that. Breaking it in half as 100 Thieves try to defend their mid turret, and Tomo sends out everything. Woody was about to die, but he pops the ulti. Turret goes down anyway. And now it's a 4k gold lead as 100 Thieves try to find something off the force, off the side. Eyla jumps in, but Azhi is burning down Sniper at the very least. He gets a reset, he gets the kill. PSG only have Betty for the damage now, so they have to run away. 100 Thieves, their best chance in this game, is now looking at them in the face. A double already. Sniper finding some blood, finding some kills. They're not out of this just yet if they keep getting opportunities like that.
Yeah, Sniper showing up in a big way there. They know they need to get something. They need to find these fights here. They lose that mid lane tier 1, but Sniper is able to come in, get a couple kills for the team. It's a good play from him, but still they are down 3,000 plus gold even off that. You can see the difference in the MasterCard lane economy snapshot. It is massive. It's advantages for PSG entirely across the board. That will have evened out a little bit after those couple kills there from Sniper, who is now ahead of his lane opponent, Azhi. So he's now 300 gold up off of that, but still, he's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting if they want to have a chance here. You know, I was talking before about how I think there's a lot of pressure on River. River has been put very far down. You know, he is behind the Sejuani here, not in this really strong position that he wants to be in. And LIllia from behind, you know, you can be very vulnerable to these plays. PSG is just hard engaging on him, bursting him down before he really has an opportunity to stack up the Conqueror, to get these passive stacks out, to find any good sleep. I don't even know if he's pressed Ultimate yet this game.
I don't think we've seen one. What chances he had, right? The fight always seems over before he gets into position, and now as Herald goes down, you know, I was ready to hype up in there, and I see the Sniper kills, and I get excited thinking, okay, there's something. But we just come back to the macro game, we come back to the map game, and it's PSG again flaunting with it as they pick up the Herald.
And at the end of the day, it's PSG with a much better scaling composition, up 3,000 gold with all the objectives. You know, they're going to be able to get another tower here. They move top. They are controlling vision very well on the map. A Maple on this Yone, he is going to be scaling so much better than the Renekton. And is going to be able to get solo gold on that tower, pushing in the top lane as well. 100 Thieves trying to get something back on that bot side, but Herald dropped mid. That means tier 2 is gone. The question is only, can they even defend the tier 3?
And now they all have to move for mid because you see Azhi moves back into position, defends bot. PSG not overstaying their welcome as Sniper gets sent away by a blast cone. His angle matters, but only if he can find a target as Woody disengages and gets out of those infernal chains. So mid stays standing, but the damage means it's a breath away from being taken down.
I mean, it's just really well handled by PSG. They just retreat out to the top side. They have like 3-4 pink wards up on that top side of the map, so they had full vision of 100 Thieves. There's no way for 100 Thieves to get any sort of like a TP flank or make any sort of unexpected play. So they knew they had full safety to just retreat up towards that top side out of the mid lane. And it's just, again, great macro play here from PSG. This really is their hallmark. They are not one of those teams that is just going to scrap at every turn. They're going to be able to play really intelligently around the map. When they take a fight, it's only going to be one that is on their terms, that they are feeling confident that they will win.
That's why Maple's so reliable, whether it's on mages or things like this Yone. I mean, Maple's map play is I think, the thing that always brings it together. It has so far in the play-in stage. He's been the best.
And I mean, when Maple is able to win lanes, that's just the cherry on top. Because this guy really made his career on the map play, on how intelligently he moves around. You can see Ezreal ult's coming bot. They're going to try to defend.
They get the satchel charge, which gets the turret down, but Arj is not hit by the little swirl seed, so he walks away. 100 Thieves get themselves a turret.
Look at top. And this is, again, you know, Maple pushing in top, you know, getting that gold onto that Yone. They're going to be feeling really good about that. Betty incredibly ahead here. You know, is stacking up, just about fully stacked now for that Muramana, and is going to be in an incredibly strong position. There you can see it now. It just does tick over. So he has that now available. And it's only going to get harder and harder and harder to deal with this Ezreal as he's leveling up, as he's grabbing more items. You know, you kind of need to deal with him. You can't really ignore this guy whatsoever in a team fight, but the solo laners are going to be a really big issue as well.
So let's highlight where the next chance stands for 100 Thieves to keep their dream alive at Worlds. Dragons up in 35 seconds. It'll be the third for PSG. Baron in 25. This objective fight that 100 Thieves have to keep bringing tempo to is up soon.
Yeah, and this is the big question is, you know, Ezreal has 2 items and is on a huge power spike, but 100 Thieves have to weigh that against the fact that they are just getting more and more outscaled. So even though it is only a Chemtech soul, I think they are going to try to drive their line in the sand here and put their world's lives on the line with this fight. If you lose this fight, if they get to soul point, get even more of a gold lead, it's probably completely cooked. So 100 Thieves, they have to wait and see, can we find the right angle to go for this fight? And if the opportunity isn't there, they definitely can't force it, because you really only have about 1 more fight left in you.
It would be such a rough history if North America in both internationals this year fell out in play-ins. Maple trying to make that happen now, but onto Quid, he doesn't get the fate sealed. Just some damage out as the soul unbound gets him to half HP. Quid is the one who has teleport, so he's going to move down now for the fight. Azael, he's trying to make it happen.
Yeah, he's going to try to look for this Sejuani. They want to try to target the jungler, it looks like.
JunJia's buying time though. Blast Cone separates them all. There's an ulti out from Sniper. Quid has got the dominant, so he pops it now, but Azhi just turns. They see this flank in action. They bring their own teleport. They pick apart the pieces, and Sniper, the member who's trying to keep them breathing, has run out of oxygen.
That blast cone just destroyed 100 Thieves. They tried to find that flank, and now Azhi spotted Quid. He's going to get cooked.
He's going to get destroyed. I know what I'm having for dinner tonight, and it's going to be snappy as Quid runs for his life down. He's got nowhere to go. Betty, Azhi are just fighting for the scraps. I don't know who's paying the bill, but I know that they're eating good as Inatara drops down. We snap to another part. A flash from Maple. Tomo hit hard, almost dead as well. PSG, if they're not making a play bot, they're making it mid. They're making it all in one. They got the dragon from that Azael. There is literally no positive takeaway I can give the 100 Thieves from that play.
Yeah, I mean, they lose the dragon, they lose the fight, they lose the mid-tier 2. Even after that, PSG got everything. Just dismantled that play there from 100 Thieves. They felt they needed to try to send it. Maple up on that top side, spent his ultimate on Quid. So Quid says, you know what, we're going to try to call for this play. We're going to try to go for it right here, right now. Does TP in. Had they been able to pick off JunJia to start, it could have been very different, but that blast cone really destroyed them. It sent, you know, Sniper over the wall, so his ultimate expires. It saves JunJia. It pushes away Quid and puts him in this situation where he's pretty awkward. And then again, it just Woody has been playing an insane game.
Right game, yeah.
The instant engage onto Sniper, they 100-0 him in that spot when he's trying to come in on the flank with Quid. His target selection has been beautiful, and PSG have all been instantly following up on any of those engages, whether it's an Ezreal, an Equalizer, a Glacial Prison. Everyone is there to do their part to burst down the member that Woody zeroes out.
And we're finally getting the JunJia that as well, you know, isn't just caught out, you know, in movement, caught out in random places, I think is what I'm trying to say. In multiple series so far at Worlds, we've just seen the JunJia that was again not promised. When all the pieces are working together, PSG look clean, and now with a 6, almost 7k gold lead, if my maths is correct, they hover around the top side. They look for this top side turret. A dive underneath for Quid just to enable that inner to drop down is getting close as Woody's caught out, but no, no, no! He says Eyla must walk away. He pops the ulti laters. It's a miss from JunJia, so Sniper takes him down. There's a mistake as a flash Arctic Assault gets him out of ground, but now you see Eyla is just standing by Azhi while Maple also shut down. PSG, I just called them clean. Right after that, they get picked apart.
Yeah, they do get a pick there. 100 Thieves, they know they just have to keep forcing here to have any opportunity of coming back in this game. It's a 5,000 gold lead, though, for PSG. So even though they do trade up, they get 2 kills for 1. They get that shutdown. I think it was even a farm shutdown on Maple. And that went over to Tomo. So that is some slight hope for them. but PSG can just play towards their win condition here of Soul, just look towards it. Yeah, it's not the strongest Soul, but you already have a significant gold lead, and it's just going to make it that much harder for 100 Thieves to burst down those members, which really is their only hope in these team fights. You know, they have to zero someone out right off the bat, you know, get a stun on a key member, which really at this point is kind of only Betty, like, you know, and try to one-shot him with the Ziggs ult. But it's so tough because you have to think, it's like, okay, how is this going to happen? Maybe you get River hits him with a sleep, and then he forces the cleanse on that, and then afterwards you can get him with a stun and then burst him down. But it's like, it has to be this series of events to really ever imagine Betty getting fully caught out and burst down.
Still trying to realize or wonder if River's used the Lilting Lullaby yet. Maybe we've seen one.
I haven't seen it, but like it could have been used, you know, on a skirmish that was kind of on a pick off side. You know, maybe it was used on Maple there, for example. But you know, definitely not any big impactful ones by any means. You know, when you think of LIllia, you do think about those like Q flash on 3-4 members and a big sleep to set up a fight. You know, there is that as an X factor. There is a potential, you know, big engage from Eyla that could set up a multi-man ult from Tomo. These are the kind of things that you have to really be looking towards and hoping for, because PSG are just playing a pretty bulletproof game and looking like they are very close now to being able to secure their Swiss stage spot.
You know, I'm used to North America bringing us the big sleeps. The 9-man sleep still resonates with me. I'm just saying. Oh, man. Your LIllias. Next tier. But in this game, that's what it has to be, doesn't it? It has to be next tier for River. It has to be the carry that we talked about being so crucial for 100 Thieves. It's been a massive year for them. Obviously not MSI, but it's been a massive year, this split. Being able to do the unthinkable. The 3rd seed. You have high expectations when you're part of this major region, and here against PSG, they're struggling to move towards Baron. 50 seconds till the Dragon, if PSG look to pivot and try and take Sol.
And I think it's so incredible that they're having this strong year, especially after what last year was. It's such a bounce back year, because last year PSG got knocked out in both play-ins at MSI and at Worlds, and then to come back and have such a strong performance here, you know, in an era where I think a lot of people were saying, well, the time of Maple, the time of the PCS has passed. Woody's going to catch him again.
It's their time now. River's going to be laid down and sent to bear. Sniper stands in front. It's a good sleep this time. I correct myself, but Sniper's now running to 5 people. He doesn't get the kill on Arja. Eyla engages only to die in the end. The range, the true shot barrage. Betty's time to shine as Quid keeps on committing, but he doesn't have the damage. Now Betty's caught into a chain. Sniper's trying his heart out. This guy's got a bright future, but not today.
Maple's gonna look for even more. Tomo's got nowhere to go. The Soul Unbound, the flash will get him to safety, but Betty, triple kill there, barely survives. They're gonna get Soul, and PSG, that may just have secured it.
River's chasing down Maple, won't get the launch up. Betty
was gonna die
to the Dragon. Tomo kills Maple in the end. PSG are getting a little bit sloppy, but as they move back to Dragon, Betty can hit from over the wall. Arja is going to help them secure it. Now River, as he walks in, wants the steal. It's a little cartwheel to move forward, but it's not enough. PSG with Soul. Tomo teleported as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's desperation hours, right?
It really
they know if you give up the Soul, you really have no chance. You're already so far behind. Your comp is outscaled. You're in a horrible, horrible position. So any play the 100 Thieves go for is likely to look bad at this point. But again, Woody, it's a masterclass. It's Q flash, W back into the team. Yeah, this time River does survive, and he gets a pretty nice sleep on multiple members. But he's out of the fight. And Sniper is kind of that hope here, but it's a gold lead in action. The Zonius was completed for Aja. If Sniper got that instant kill there with the Q3 flash on Aja, which he would have had the damage for, he would have got the reset on the ulti. And then this fight that is that close, imagine this is an ulted Aatrox. It could have looked completely different. Maybe he can take over, maybe he can actually turn that around, but they just don't have it. And you can hear the disappointment in the voice, obviously. You know, trying to stay positive in these situations. You have to try to look for those 2% odds, those 1% odds, whatever there is for you to grab. You got to try to reach out and grab it in these situations. But Betty said he was going to be a problem in late game, and late game, it feels like, has arrived early, as he's already on 3.5 items because he has 8 kills. We're 28 minutes in. This guy is a monster, and he has double summoners for the next fight, which is just going to make it that much more impossible to deal with.
And they're just going to start up Baron right into the pit now, and as Betty hits away, River needs to move towards his former comrade, who's also on top of the Baron. Maple starts chunking it away, and River's way too far away as Woody turns it for an engaged. Baron goes down. A fate sealed over to Ayla's fate at Worlds. Betty with his 9th, and PSG are going to start running rings again.
Yeah, PSG in an incredible spot here, dominating this series start to finish. It feels like this one a little bit closer. Last one 20-1.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, this one really hasn't ever felt that close because of the compositional advantages, because of how even they kept it in the early stages. The advantages they took were pretty strong even from there. They've played the map incredibly well, and now Maple and Betty, monstrous gold leads. Such reliable carries here for the team.
And PSG dotting the I's, crossing the T's now. 2.5k starts off our Red Bull Baron power play as those waves start crashing in. Not much standing gold outside of the bases. It is just that inner turret in the bot side. And Nexus turrets to go, rather inhibitor turrets to correct myself, as PSG starts stealing away River's jungle and making it even more impossible to find anything in the game.
Yeah, River, you're not going to be able to get into that jungle, but 100 Thieves, you're just hoping for a miracle now. You're hoping for some sort of deep ward. They do have one deep ward behind them. We'll see if Quid is going to actually elect a TP on it. I probably think he should. I don't think the chances are going to get even better here, but 100 Thieves not going to go for it just yet. Are going to be backing off, and we'll see if those wards do expire. Quid is pinging that he's going to go for the tier 2, so I guess their call is we can't actually defend anyway, so try to get a little bit of gold back on the other side.
But they did this last game as well, right? And PSG just keep taking and taking and taking. Mid turret's about to drop down.
There's
as
the
well.
TP.
There's the full commit, and maybe the TP comes in late because River's about to die in his own base. Maple takes him down. It's an engage from Eyla, but look how split they are. All onto Betty is good from Quid. That starts it off, but the equalizer has to be walked over. PSG still an advantage. A flash away from JunJia. Stops the sweet spot from Sniper. They tried. They fought. North America, though, history is calling out to you.
PSG are going to be going to the Swiss stage. It's a 2-0 over 100 Thieves.
Azael, it's rough. 100 Thieves were expected to be one of the best teams out of play-ins, but when PSG lighten up, I'm sure we'll remember this name, the NA Killers of 2024. It started at MSI versus FlyQuest. It continues against 100 Thieves here at Worlds 2024. They have done the unthinkable. They have made history here, and they have locked in the last spot at Swiss for this year's Worlds.
Play-ins ending on a high note there for the PCS. PSG dominate 100 Thieves. This was not close. This was a team playing at a different level than the LCS number 3 seed here today. Fortunately, 400 Thieves that couldn't get it together against the PCS team. Maple, JunJia, Azhi, everyone on the squad, Betty and Woody playing incredibly well. I have to give so much credit to Woody in this game. Alistar was one of the best support performances. This was looking like Alvaro out there. They're both playing so incredibly well. He set up, it felt like every single fight, every engage he had, someone was going to die on 100 Thieves, and it felt like time and time again, the fight was over before it even began.
Another early game that stings dear. 100 Thieves. As I said, you know, a lot of history's been made at this Worlds. This has been a very big Worlds for play-ins. But never before has a North American team been knocked out at Worlds play-ins. 100 Thieves, a valiant effort in the end, but it was just not enough.
Yeah, bright future for a lot of those players. For them, their first time making it to an international event here. Obviously heartbreaking for them. You know, you work so hard and it's not the result that they were hoping for, but they will be heading home and, you know, looking to try to learn from this, come back next year stronger if they can. PSG, though, they are heading to the Swiss stage.